This situation has somehow even gotten crazier since the last time I saw all of you guys. This also will probably be the last time I talk about this FaZe situation involving two former FaZe members, because it's starting to impact the new FaZe, and the current FaZe members are even responding about this, and you can see how much it's like not enjoyable for them, and it really shouldn't be impacting the current state of FaZe and any of their current members, because it has nothing to do with them. It of course involves FaZe Rain now going after a former FaZe Temperrr, and we'll get more into that as he made some serious accusations a long time ago now. About a week ago, we talked about Rain initially accusing Temperrr of being a PDF. And you guys already know why I'm using the word PDF, because of YouTube censorship and a variety of reasons, but you know exactly what he's accusing him of, a very serious thing.
I wasn't even pushed out, I left. There's a fucking pedophile involved too, bro. I don't give a fuck if I get sued, I could give a fuck less. I always stand up for what's right. That was the final straw, bro.
This stemming back apparently originally to 2019 or 2022. It depends on the story that Temperrr allegedly was telling Rain at the time, where he, according to Rain, had bragged about hooking up with two 16-year-old girls. Now, that story has changed multiple times throughout multiple iterations and responses from both of these guys, but that was the initial claim by FaZe Rain after he had kind of broadly accused someone of being a PDF inside FaZe, and that being one of the many reasons why he had left the team. Then it's actually FaZe Rain and Banks that went on a stream together after Banks posted a video on Twitter clearing his name, saying, hey, Rain was not talking about me, he was talking about Temperrr. Throughout this live stream, we didn't find out too much, aside from the fact that both Banks and Apex were aware of these initial things. Although they were a little hairy on the details, it was mainly between Rain and Tommy knowing that the full scope of this serious situation and what went down. So we didn't really get too much from that. After all of this, we then get our first response from Temperrr, where he actually claims that FaZe Rain was trying to blackmail, get some money out of the situation, and that's why he had brought it up a year prior to all of this now finally coming out. He then later on finally responded again and admitted there was some at least moral wrongdoing here. As he later explained, he went to a 21 plus club, had left with some girls, and eventually hooked up with one of them, which according to him, he claims that afterwards he found out she was just 17. And that was the only response we had received. Later that night, it was actually FaZe Rain who then responded again.
And sent me into a dark place. Soon after that, I was just that lost soul again, going to parties, partying, and just being a fool. And then one day I go to New York, and I go to this club that's 21 plus, and I link up with a buddy there, and he invites a couple girls, and I end up going back with these girls. We're all shit-faced, and I end up going back with these girls to my hotel room. I slept with one of them, and I found out after that this girl was 17. And that's the age of consent in New York. But regardless, I was sick to my stomach.
This time, FaZe Rain comes on video and starts apologizing for kind of dragging this situation and making it seem as serious as it was, and recanting the account that Temperrr was a PDF after he had apparently spoken to Temperrr's wife, who said, you know, he was under the influence, he was very stupid, but did not know and was not aware of the girl's age. And so Rain kind of walked back a little bit of his stuff. He still was proud that he had aired all of this out, but he kind of deleted everything and wanted to take everything back, or so it seemed.
So I just got off a 4-hour call with Emma, which is Tommy's wife and his the mother of his child, and she was so cool, so rational, so understanding. She was just, pouring her heart out to me, venting and talking about how this has affected her life, And that's what a lot of people tend to forget, is how much these things affect people's real lives. I know it's just Twitter to you guys, you're just weighing in on an opinion. You type some shit, you move on, you type some other shit on a different thing. But it really does affect these people's lives, bro, especially when it's something this sensitive, So please keep that in mind. But I do want to say this. I want to first and foremost retract the statement that I called him a pedophile, because that wasn't fair to do. By the way, I wiped my fucking camera. I don't know what the fuck is still happening. Okay? I wiped my fucking camera. I don't know what's happening. But it's not fair to label somebody as a pedophile, especially when they supposedly did not know this girl's age. I've known Tommy for 15 years. It's not like he ever went around preying on young girls or telling me he likes young girls or any of these things. So that's why I was such a shock when he told me what he told me. He just never told me that he didn't know their ages. If he did, it'd be a whole different story. It'd be a whole different story if he didn't know their ages, right? And I never would have felt as deep about it as I did. And I never would have wanted him to step down in 2023 if he didn't know their ages.
That was until Temperrr then quoted that tweet, still frustrated by the entire situation, and said, "Thanks, FaZe Rain, for ruining my entire life." And here's where things get kicked off all over again. Because then Rain takes back all the taking back he did and re-accuses Tommy and starts diving into the supposed evidence in this case. Now, I can't confirm or clarify any of the people reaching out to Rain and the evidence they have given him. It is stringent. I'm not saying that they are false claims against Temperrr. This seems to be a very serious situation, which definitely goes pretty deep. I mean, we're talking about years and years ago, and we're talking about one, maybe two supposed victims who Rain hasn't even spoken directly to yet, so keep that in mind. But then we have FaZe Rain, who responds after all of this and calls out Temperrr again, doubling down on the initial accusations, as Temperrr was also kicked and removed from FaZe Clan during this whole ordeal just a couple of days ago. It is Rain taking to a stream, and to surmise the stream, you guys can go watch it at the point of me recording. His hour-long VOD is still up. He is now looking to actually involve the initial alleged victims who were formerly allegedly in high school at the time. He's looking to also involve the high school and try and pull their records and even get the police involved to get the full extent of the law against Temperrr for this situation. So yeah, things have gotten very much out of hand.
Tommy that night to speak out. I would love to contact the girls. I have their first and last names. I have the year they were born, and I have the school. I'm going to be contacting the school first thing in the morning to dig up their files to get these girls information based on what happened, and I will take it to the fucking police and try to execute the full extent of the law against this man. I am doing everything in my power to see this man serve justice, because this is so fucking wrong, bro. This is so fucking wrong. He lied his ass off. And this is what FaZe corporate, you could take it to this, you could take it to any that has ever stood up for anything. I am the only fucking person. So why do you think you might think like, oh, he's a narcissist? I think I should like myself for that, actually. I think I should. You know what? I do think I deserve to feel good for that. I do. Because I stand up to shit that you would never stand up for. So clearly I'm cut from a different cloth. Clearly I am, especially in this content creator sphere. Especially where nobody's genuine, everybody lies.
And throughout all of this, you can see how it's impacted other FaZe members. Someone like Adapt went live for 15 minutes and he had a spiel about this whole situation quite broadly, and you can see how it's impacting them and other FaZe members. And so that's hard to see, because these are two former FaZe guys, right? I say FaZe Rain, I say FaZe Temperrr because that's how I associate with them, but they're not members of FaZe Clan. And Temperrr obviously recently kicked. He was very recently, he was a FaZe member representing FaZe, but Rain's been gone for quite some time now. And so it is unfortunate that this has kind of left a mark on the current FaZe who have nothing to do with this whatsoever. Which is why this is probably the last time I'm going to talk about this. This has gone to a level that I never even saw this going, and the only time you guys will probably see an update if the police somehow do get involved. It is obviously a very unfortunate situation, obviously a very bad situation you don't want to be involved in or talking about, and it's certainly not fun to give this kind of news. So we will see how Rain chooses to pursue this situation with Temperrr, but it's definitely a complex situation of wondering what the full truth is. Don't get me wrong, it's a very bad situation, but if anything's going to come of this, I'm just not really sure. So till next time, I hope you guys all take care of yourselves. That is the FaZe situation for now, and we'll see you guys back here sometime soon. Take care.